How's it going, guys, and welcome to this week's edition of the Zeacho Sports Show here on YouTube. As always, the weekly giveaway is still going on right here. We have the Beats by Dre solo headphones. Those are the over-ear headphones. These are $200 headphones I'm giving away for free. First of all, we got to hit 500 subscribers, though. I'm at 200 right now, so keep that going on. So you got to subscribe. You also have to comment on the video, so then you'll be added into the raffle. And then lastly, like the video. I want to kick things off by talking about soccer. Now, I know not a lot of Americans like soccer, but you'll appreciate this story. Coming out of Brazil, a guy named Rodrigo Ceni set a record this week by scoring 100 career goals. Now, I know it doesn't seem like a really big deal, but this guy is a goalkeeper coming out of Brazil. He scored on either PKs, which is a penalty kick, or a free kick, which means it's outside the area. Pretty crazy to consider that every time he has to kick one of these, if he doesn't get in, he has to sprint his butt 70 or 80 yards all the way back to the other goal to make sure that they don't score on him. So that's pretty impressive. But what's even more impressive is the hot streak that the Lakers and the Heat are on. Right now, the Lakers have won 7 games straight, and the Heat have won 5 games in a row. Both are coming in with a head of steam and looking to possibly take over the number 1 seed in both of their conferences. Right now, the Bulls are sitting at first place in the East, Celtics at second, and Heat in third. However, the Celtics are only 5-5 in their last 10 games, so they're really slipping down. A lot of people think that the Heat will overtake them. They've only got 9 games left, and it should be a pretty easy schedule for them. However, the Lakers, on the other hand, have to try to catch up to the Spurs. The Spurs aren't doing very well either. They're actually on a 4-game losing streak right now, which is pretty insane if you think about how they started the season. But they do still hold a 3.5 game lead over the Lakers. So chances are they'll probably hold on to that. But the Spurs are pretty banged up lately, so who knows? I mean, the Lakers could overtake them and get that number 1 seed and have home court advantage throughout the playoffs. As many of you know, the Final Four is going to be coming up this coming weekend. Game between Butler and VCU, that's Virginia Commonwealth University, and then also UConn is playing Kentucky. No one expected Butler, an 8 seed, or VCU, an 11, to get this far. However, they're both there with really young coaches and really talented teams. However, I don't think that either of them is going to end up winning the national championship. I believe Butler will probably knock off VCU, and then I also believe in the other game that UConn's going to knock off Kentucky. In the championship, Butler is going to end up losing for a second year in a row. Those are my predictions this week. We'll see if that pans out. In women's college basketball, I think that their Final Four is coming up next weekend as well, but nobody really cares about that, so let's just fast forward and talk about some other stuff. Let's quick talk about the NFL. Right now, there's a lockout going on, and a lot of NFL players are looking to sue their team or management, the owners, things like that. Now, though, an interesting story coming out of Cleveland as the Browns fans are actually suing the organization in a sort of a strange twist of events. The Browns fans are arguing that somehow by this lockout, they're breaching some sort of PSL agreement that the league has with the fans and the players. And essentially, in short, the Browns are suing the NFL for $50,000. Basically, it's just one big billionaire doing all the suing, and it's a waste of time. Football, as I see it, is going to be back in the fall anyway. I think this is just stupid. It's a waste. It's probably actually that stupid-looking bulldog guy that dresses up for all their games that's doing the suing, now that I think about it. Last of the headlines this week is a story kind of intertwined in the NFL. It's a story about Chad Ocho-stinko of the Bengals. Now, ever since the lockout, Ocho-stinko has been looking into different things he could do during his time off if the NFL stays locked out for all of next season. And one of the things that he's trying to do is play professional soccer in the MLS. The MLS team from Kansas City called Sporting FC agreed to let Ocho-stinko try out for them this past week. And just today, they said that they weren't going to put him on the roster, but they were going to name him an honorary member of the team, whatever that means. He didn't exactly get cut, and I guess he can still kind of be affiliated with the team, but he's not going to play. He was just awful. If you watch the highlights, he's just horrible. And personally, I think it's a slap in the face to the MLS to begin with. I play soccer and I love soccer, and to see him come out there and just think that he can play and be that good to begin with is sort of an insult to the MLS. And I'm really glad that he sucked, because that's just rude of him to come out and try to play. I mean, imagine Landon Donovan, he plays in the MLS if you're not familiar with him, or maybe David Beckham, there's a bigger name, going and trying out for the NFL. I mean, come on, like, it would just strictly be a joke, and that's all that Ocho-stinko is trying to do here. He wants to get his name in the media, as if his show he has on MTV or whatever isn't enough. In this week's athlete lookalike section, we're going to be looking at someone that's not actually an athlete. I don't know if he actually ever was an athlete, considering how nasty and fat he looks now, but we'll take a look at Stan Van Gundy, coach of the Orlando Magic. His match, I think, is Ron Jeremy. Now, if you don't know who Ron Jeremy is, probably Wikipedia him, maybe Google search him. Just make sure you have a safe search on. And if you don't know why I'm telling you that, you'll understand after you hit enter. The blooper of the day is really pretty silly. I found this video on YouTube, and you might not think it's funny, but I kind of thought it was funny. It's not really even that sport related. It actually has to do with the Xbox 360 Kinect. Some kids are playing Kinect in their basement. They're doing a track game or something, and just check it out.
Tristan! Oh! You're still running!
Play of the day is coming to you from JaVale McGee. Now, if you remember JaVale McGee, he was in the slam dunk contest this year with Blake Griffin. Both of them made it to the final, and Blake Griffin won with that stupid car dunk of his. Now, JaVale McGee probably is holding that against Blake Griffin, and he had a lot of anger to take out on him when you watch this next play. I don't like Blake Griffin, so this made me really happy to see, and I really don't like JaVale McGee either. There's just something about him that really kind of makes me mad. He's just a goofy-looking guy, but either way, it's nice to see Blake Griffin get ashamed like he did in this play.
It's in the bounce from Gordon. Kamen, little up fake, the wraparound pass, and the rejection by McGee. Big time defensive play. And the most dazzling pass of Chris Kamen's career.